So when most people are looking for a brand new electric longboard, there's a few things to consider in the budget range, whether that be the speed, the range, the torque, size, maybe even weight, stuff like that. But one thing that doesn't usually get considered is the drivetrain, and that's usually because most budget electric skateboards use hub motors. Hub motors meaning that the motor is literally inside of the wheel with just a thin layer of urethane on the outside of it. This board right here is the fairly new Meepo Go electric skateboard, and it really strikes intrigue in me in the budget space because it has a belt drivetrain and it is priced at about $550-ish, give or take, dollars. So when Meepo reached out to me and said that they would send me one to just check out, I obviously had to jump on the train because the drivetrain being belt drive, I've never had a belt drive before. Most of my electric boards are sent to me because I'm broke and I can't afford to spend a ton of money on boards. So all my boards before have been hub motor drivetrains. I was super excited about this because this was going to be my first belt drive, and I was really excited to see the difference in performance or overall feel of the board. And oh boy, there's some differences. So I unboxed it quite a long time ago, but it has not been used much until recently. So I have recent testing with this board. So I first want to just start off kind of with an overview of the board. Looking at it here, you'll see it is a pretty long and substantially sized board. I don't know the exact specs, but I guess it's around the 40-inch mark. I'll put the stuff on the screen for you guys to see for yourselves. But obviously it has the nice belt-driven system, and basically the difference between this and hub motors is that it uses belts, obviously, as in the name, to move the wheels, but the motors are situated inside of the truck area. They're not in the wheels, they're kind of next to the trucks. They hook onto the trucks, and then they connect to the wheels using these belts. So when the motor spins, the belt spins, it hooks onto the wheel spins. Right next to the belt drive, you'll see it's got these really big orange wheels. They're nice and soft and squishy, and it's got the exact same ones on the back. And the nice thing about the belt drive is that if you want to put on different wheels that are compatible with belt drive systems, you are more than welcome to do so. Whereas hub drive motors, you're kind of stuck with the wheels that the board came with. We also got a massive battery thing on the other side of the board. It's absolutely huge, and this is where you can charge the board. And on the other side, we have a smaller little box, and this is kind of where the e-control system sits, as well as the power button and battery indicator. We have a pretty simple graphic on the bottom, but it's made of this nice texturized material. I don't know for sure, but it feels pretty waterproof and water resistant, so that is a nice touch. Flipping it over, on the top we got some nice grip tape, a nice halftone color, a bunch of screws showing, which I actually appreciate because it allows working on the board and changing out parts a lot easier. And we also have my favorite thing about these boards by Meepo, the carrying handle. I was a big carrying handle skeptic when I first heard about it because I did not like the idea of a hole in my board, but I am completely on board now. I've totally switched tunes. Being able to grab it with this handle makes the board feel so much lighter when carrying it. I don't know why, it's probably just an illusion in my head, but it really does make a difference, and it's just super nice and super easy when carrying it around. I honestly get upset when boards don't have a handle now because I like them so much. Another cool thing about the board is on both the nose and the tail, or double nose, double tail, it has a little protective guard on it just made of some plastic, so if you happen to bail or ram the board into a curb or something, it's going to protect that wood and just scuff up the plastic a little. Just a nice little touch and something they didn't have to do, but they decided to do anyways, which I always appreciate. So there's a little bit about the overview, but I want to talk a little bit about the belt drivetrain system on the board and why belt drives are awesome. So because of this design, you can have more powerful motors because they don't need to take up a certain size inside of the wheel. So you can have really powerful motors connected to these, which causes a lot of belt drive systems to have a lot more torque output than a hub drive motor, meaning if you're trying to go up hills, in theory, you would get up a lot quicker. The belt drive system also stops and goes a little faster, so you can brake faster and you can also get going pretty quick. And from personal experience, I'll tell you, yeah, it's pretty quick. The other really awesome thing about the belt drive system is that the riding experience is so much smoother. It is really easy to notice immediately. So if you've ever ridden a hub motor board, you'll know that hitting bumps or cracks in the ground, it's going to, you're gonna feel it. This mimics regular skateboards almost perfectly. It feels like the same feeling you have riding a longboard. You don't feel those giant bumps or vibrations as much in the ground, meaning you can go faster and feel more stable, and your feet also aren't just going like this the whole time, right? Like, you're gonna have a smoother, better experience. And honestly, that is one of my biggest reasons to recommending belt drives over hub motors. Just the experience of riding it, as far as a smooth factor goes, is substantially better. The other funny thing about belt drive systems is the noise they make. So they kind of make this really high-pitched whirring sound when you're riding, almost like that kind of a sound. Hub motors don't do that. I guess it could be a benefit or not. Like, benefit being people will definitely hear you. Maybe disadvantage if you want to be a little more stealthy about your ride. But I think in general, it's just kind of funny how it makes that sound. Now, moving on from that, I do want to quick mention the controller. I got the controller here. It is a pretty nice size controller. It is a little bigger than the Meepo V5 controller if you have used that one before. But it's got two really big buttons on the front, so it's easy to press even if you're wearing gloves or something, like if you're riding in the winter. It also has a little lanyard to hook your hand on, which I definitely appreciate. I think it's a very nice touch to have one of these. And it's got a little screen that gives you your info. I haven't had any problems with this interfacing with the board at all. You turn on the board, you turn on the remote, they pair very quick, and then you turn off the remote and it automatically turns off the board. And then you're ready to go back home. The trucks say Shredder on them. I don't know what brand that is, but I have had no issues with them. They turn nicely for a board this size, and the bushings feel also very nice while riding. This is a very big and very hefty board, so it is not a lightweight longboard. So if that's something that doesn't interest you, this may not be the right board for you. But if you are riding this board mostly on the ground and not picking it up a bunch, I don't think it's really going to be a big deal. The hardest part is going to be getting it out of your house and onto the road or into your car. That being said, the reason it's so heavy is because it's got this giant battery in it, and it claims to get 20 miles of range, I believe. And honestly, for my testing, it is pretty close to that bar. And not only that, it is pretty close to that at a pretty top speed. A lot of these boards, they advertise a 20-mile range, and it's for the lowest setting when you're going like 2 miles an hour. It's like, come on, guys. Nobody is riding this thing going 2 miles an hour. I have gotten this thing pretty close or at max speed, and I've had pretty consistent battery life with what they're saying. So that is a super nice thing to see, because it always irritates me when they're not always fully truthful about the battery life. Now, the power cable is a little interesting because it has this little 3-prong thing in the connector, and the connector, you kind of have to twist it around a little to finally figure out how to push it in. I'm not the hugest fan of that. I kind of prefer the one on the Meepo V5 where it's just a universally plugged in thing. Like, it doesn't matter how you have it twisted, it'll go in really easily. Maybe they changed it due to it needing more power output to charge, but honestly, I don't know. I like the other one better, to be honest. How does this thing actually perform in the world? So all I gotta say is this thing performs like a beast as far as speed and range go. Like, this thing, I think the top speed is around 28. I've gotten it a little under that, maybe 26, 27. And I go over some pretty hilly areas and it's pretty consistent. So I like that a lot. Again, like I said, the battery life is great. In addition to that, the torque is very noticeable when you're going up hills. I was shocked by this. Like, I live in Colorado. We have some pretty steep hilly neighborhoods around, and this thing just flew up these hills like it was nothing. The one thing that I think is important to mention that people might care about is that it is a big board, it is heavy, and while it can turn good for its size, it is not a super turny, carvy longboard. If you're looking for something that can do really sharp, quick turns, 90 degrees or more, this may not be the one for you. You know, the turning radius is a little wider, and you know, that's to be expected. It's got really big trucks, it's really long, it's heavy. What can you say? But if you're looking for something with a little more tighter turning, I highly recommend Meepo's other board, the V5. I don't know where mine is right now. It might be in my closet. But I recommend that one over this. That one, the turning radius is a lot better. And alternatively, If you're really looking for something lightweight and turny, I would definitely check out the review I did on this Nalu electric longboard. It doesn't appear to have a battery, although it does, and it has surf skate trucks, so it's super turny and it's really small. And I like this one a lot for doing really quick, short commutes. Obviously, it has other downsides, which you can learn about in the video. That being said, if the turning doesn't bother you, this is a great choice, and it's honestly hard to recommend anything other than this. Because at the $500, $550-ish price point, I don't really know what beats this. Everything slightly below that price point is hub motors, like hands down hub motors. And like we've talked about, the advantages of belt drives are pretty substantial. So spending a couple extra dollars, whether that's an extra 50 or so, to get a belt drive system, to me seems like a no-brainer. And Meepo has established itself as a very good, reliable brand in the industry, so it's hard to go wrong with a Meepo board. I mean, they have good batteries, they have good speed, they have good build quality. It's really tough to recommend a different brand. So if you like the reasons that I've been talking about, and you can live with the turning radius not being the greatest, and you can live with the weight being kind of heavy on this thing, I would highly recommend this board. I really can't think of anything in this price range that is comparable, and I think if you got this board, you're going to be super happy with it. It's going to zoom through your city, it's going to have a long battery life, you're going to have a lot of fun with it. So that's pretty much all I got to talk about the Meepo Go. I'm curious, what do you guys think about the Meepo Go? Do you like it? Are you interested? Do you own one? Do you have another Meepo board or a different recommendation in the same category? Please let me know in the comments and we'll talk about it. But yeah, I mean, if you like the Meepo board, definitely pick one up. I'll leave the link to it in the description, as well as the link to the Meepo V5, because I think that's a strong choice as well. I have an older video on that, but maybe I should do a future update on that one, because that's also a really good board. That being said, I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something interesting, and I'll catch you all in the next one. So, peace.